Right, I just want to have a talk about one of the concepts I find useful for teaching Chi Sau, and particularly how to develop strength in some of the basic structures for beginners. And it's a little bit of a contradiction in that I use ideas from the Chum Kiu form to help teach beginners the structure of Chi Sau, particularly looking at this movement in the Chum Kiu form here. Because what this is doing is providing a way to look at the circles that our arms create with opposite lines of support. Okay? So if we look at the basic ideas of Tan Sau, we're operating in a vertical shape, and Bong Sau in a horizontal. Right? So from those basic structures, they're going to be weak on their face and strong on their edge, which is one of the basic premises of Chi Sau. Is as we roll, as the person puts pressure on our weakness, we go to strength. All right? So as we're performing these movements, within the Chum Kiu, in these structures, we have the other arm providing the opposite line of support. Okay, so if I have the Tan Sau shape here, the other arm coming through here is applying directly opposite. As they roll through to the higher position, then now with the Bong in the horizontal shape, the Wu Sau coming through is operating on the vertical. Okay, so what we've basically done with those actions is created, rather than individual planes of force, we've gone to creating a ball. Okay? So the relevance of this to Chi Sau is that as we're going through the basic actions, for beginners, they'll find it very easy for a person to apply downward pressure on their Bong Sau, so they have to rotate, and they'll be rotating through the structures in a very defensive manner, okay, when they feel pressure rotate, okay, which is a fine starting point. But some exercises based on these actions which can help is if we take the basic Bong Sau position and now apply the Wu Sau shape, but even to start with, physically apply it. Right? And now, as Alexis applies downward force, I just think about this shape absorbing the force. I don't even worry about the Bong Sau. It's not doing anything. Just this arm's taking that force down into my body. As the person gets comfortable with this, we can then separate these tools, but still visualise this arm taking that force. And so Alexis still applies that downward force. I've still got the force coming into my body. And what automatically happens when I start thinking about using this for support is we start using our body rather than our arm. Okay, so it's just one method to start to be able to use the whole body. So then if we take that whole shape, as we start to rotate down here into the Tan Sau shape, it's weak for this line of force, I support it here. Okay, and once again, can just this happen mentally. So as I'm rotating through the positions, I can think about just that rear hand driving the force to create power. Right? So if you just experiment with this, for even people who are not particularly adept or skilled in Wing Chun, just thinking about using that other arm, you start to get people to use their bodies a little bit more efficiently. And in starting to use the body efficiently, you start to be more comfortable with the movements, and therefore start to relax a little bit more fully. This is something I believe quite strongly, is you can only feel comfortable with exercises and start to relax in them when you develop a little bit of confidence. So these simple exercises develop a little bit of confidence in basic structures, which then facilitates the next step of relaxation.